My brother and I, growing up, being relatively close in age, we enjoyed a lot of the same interests. We liked playing outside, building clubhouses, that sort of thing. I don't really know what sparked it, but there was just kind of a aha moment where I was, looking at my brother, and he's blonde-haired, blue eyes, and obviously I'm not that. I'm darker skinned and brown hair, brown eyes. And I remember asking my dad, I said, hey, how come my brother looks that way and I look this way? We look totally different. And he just kind of like ever so nonchalantly, just kind of matter of fact, hey, well, I'm not your dad. I went and talked to my mom and said, hey, well, who's my dad? Dad just said he's not my dad. She said, well, yeah, he's not. And I said, well, then who is? She goes, well, I don't really know. And, talk about like kind of like an, existential life crisis at 12, you're kind of like, how do you deal with that? We found my mom and she was crying, sobbing uncontrollably kind of thing. And we were like, Mom, what's going on? And she's like, oh, your dad left. And everything kind of seemed to just change. Things were just different at that point. She was self-medicating at that point. We started seeing more and more drugs. We started seeing all kinds of stuff. She would just disappear for weekends at a time. I became kind of motivated in that sense where I started working 2 jobs. I just kind of lived hand to mouth. I would go, buy new clothes, hang out with friends, and then pretty much hit the bar every Friday, Saturday, and then sometimes Sunday if I didn't have to work Monday. And I really didn't see a problem with that at that time. I just thought, this is what you do in life. You get a good job, you have money, and you go party. You work hard and play hard, right? That's what you do. And I remember just kind of having this huge empty feeling in my soul. Just, there's got to be more than this. What's going on? There's got to be, somebody out there for me. There's got to be something more that I should be doing with my life. It wasn't long after that that I met my future wife, my lovely wife, Renee. We bought a house out here in Enumclaw. She had 2 kids from a previous marriage. It was around this time that at my job that I met somebody that actually lived out here in Enumclaw as well. So we started to carpool together, and he started to kind of work on me, if you will, about going to church. Why? What's the point of doing anything of that nature? And he's like, oh, you just got to check it out. You got to check it out. You'll be really, surprised. And, I came up with all these lavish excuses of why I couldn't go. Well, I don't know, a lot of time passed before I finally agreed to going. And once I set foot in church, I started to realize that, these people were normal. They weren't dysfunctional. They weren't crazy. And I was proven so wrong that when I started to listen, that these old stories, were relevant to my life. This is, going to fill that hole that I thought a special someone, my wife, could fill. Well, this was starting to fill that void. And that's when I knew, this is the right decision, and this is when I need to give my life to God. Knowing that I've always had a father watching over me, and just having that realization that he's always been there and you've never been alone is huge. You never realize just how great he is until you invite him into your heart. And so if there's really anybody out there that, maybe they still have a dad, or maybe they don't feel like they have that emotional connection with them, or that he wasn't there for them, maybe they were absent, or, whatever, they fell short. And to be honest, all of them do. As a dad myself, I know I fall short, but I no longer have to walk in guilt or shame. I walk in freedom and in peace, and it's all through his love.